In this video, we're going to practice and put to use all we've learned in the last two video classes about charts and graphs. So to do this, we're going to use the source file, that the text2 that we've been working with throughout the document production class. If you don't have the updated version of it, that just simply means you've not been doing the activities in class. But I took the liberty of putting up the text file again, or the Word document. You can find it as the text2.latest on Edmodo. So to practice our graph and chart skills today, we're going to make use of this file, like I said, and we're going to produce two charts. The first one we're going to produce will be the pie chart, and the second one we're going to produce will be a vertical bar chart. Now, to do this, we're going to take this data we have here of the players and also the goals that each players have scored to plot our charts. Now, the method I'm going to use might be a little bit different from what you've learned in the previous classes, but it's the same goal. You achieve the same thing at the end. So it's always important, like I was saying, to know the different ways of achieving or performing the same task. It helps you in case you get stranded using one method. You can always use another method. Let us begin. So to produce our pie chart, I'm going to copy the data from Wayne Rooney down to Matthew. Now this data is what we are going to use to produce our pie chart. Now I'm going to scroll down to the bottom just after the Ben 10. We did this one with working with images. So I'm going to add a new page. Now on this page, I'm going to create the pie chart. So I'll go to the Insert menu tab and click on Charts. Then select from the list of charts, pie chart. And I can choose any of the template I want to use. So let me just use the plain pie. And I'll click OK. Now the series data is going to pop up here, so I can put in information like players, and instead of sales here I'll have goals. Now I'll highlight the rest of this and just click on Ctrl V on my keyboard to paste. I'm going to get a dialog box that's going to ask me to yes, this dialog box is saying the data you're pasting isn't the same size as your selection. Do you want to paste anyway? So I'm going to click yes. If I expand this a bit, so we can see I have the players and I have the goals scored by each player. So I have a very colorful, just look this way, I have a very colorful pie chart, and I have a legend at the bottom of this pie chart. I think for now we're basically done here. So what you want to do now is probably give it a more appropriate title, because I'm having goals here and it's not really detailed. So I can say percentage of goals scored by players. So we're looking at the percentage scored by only the selected players. This is a capital P. Let's make that a small p. So, okay, this looks more appropriate. Now the next thing I want to do is probably just do a chart data. Now this time around I want to make sure I'm having it outside. Now the outside end is okay, good. This is better. The call out data. Now this shows the players and the percentage of goals they've scored among themselves. And since I have it this way, it means I don't need to have a legend. Much better. I can also do some styling. Probably I want to make these more like a 3D. Yes. There we go. Okay, it looks like a 3D chart. Well, for some reason I'm having it inside out. So I can adjust all this. There, okay. It's already adjusted. Oops, our legend is back. So let me take out the legend again. Now, like I said, there are so many ways you can do this. I can still come under the chart tool dialog box that comes up. So from the design section, I can actually come to the chart layout and do quick layout and select a more appropriate layout that I choose to work with. I can also add chart elements like the chart title, the data labels, legends. For instance, I don't want any legends, so that's sorted out. And I can decide to play with this. Perhaps I want to remove the two top goal scorers among them. So for instance, I'm going to select just that particular pie or piece of it and just exclude them. So these are some of the things you can do with your pie chart. You can add them back if you want. You can still remove if you want. So let's take this out. I want the Emil Husky or Hisky. Pardon me. I don't know their name very well. Okay, so that is it. That is it with our pie chart. Now let's look at the column chart. So the same process, I'm going to go back up and I'm going to select all the data in the table. Copy that. Then I will come to the bottom here and go to my insert chart. I want a column, which is a vertical bar chart, and I want to use that to prepare this. So I'm going to click on that and it's going to give me, of course, my series data again. Now this time around I have just two data, just the players and the series 1, so I don't need this one. I'm going to delete that. Okay. Let me delete that column. Right click, delete column. So I'm going to select these ones now and I'm going to do a Control V on my keyboard. Just click OK. Now we found a problem with one or more formula sentences. Okay. So reference name. Alright. Good. So everything is in place. Now all I need to do is do the same thing, do a little editing here and there. Like for instance the title should be goals scored by players. Okay. Now I want to set the axis title. So let me go to chart elements and axis title. So the primary horizontal. This would be squares, and then we have the horizontal title or vertical title, pardon me, and this will be goals scored. And what else can we do? We can add a data table. So I can add a chart element, say data table with no legend. That doesn't look nice. Okay, so let's skip that, say none. We can add the data labels. Maybe put it on top, outside end. Good, like that. Now another thing we can do is we can edit the data value here. So if I click on that and come to this area here, that is the axis options, I can specify what my minimum bound and my maximum bound will be. So my minimum bound will be, let's say, 1 goal, and my maximum bound, let's make it 260. Okay, and let's increment this by, okay, let's make this 0. And 60, and let's increment this by 30. 20. Okay, so let's see what happens there. There we go. Much better. And of course, we don't need a legend here because we just have one series data. So I'm going to go to legend and say none. And we have plotted our vertical bar chart. So other things that you can do, which we've gone through in the last videos, you can add colors. You can also decide to put in grid lines. I know we talked about grid lines. You have the primary major grid lines, you have the primary major vertical grid lines. So when you do this, it somewhat want to look like a graph paper. So there are so many things you can play with. Now this is how we're going to apply it. We've used the data we have in our table above here to create these two charts. I'm sure by now you should be familiar with all of these. So that is all you need to know about charts and graphs, and we've come to the end of this topic. So in our next class, we're going to do a little more in document production. We're going to look at an overhaul activity of past questions or practical questions that you could come across when dealing with document production. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put it at the comment section of this video, and we'll discuss and elaborate more on it to ensure that everyone understands it. Alright, so this is where we're going to end the class for today. Bye guys.